My name is NIKO PANOUSOPOULOS. I'm 22 years old, from Queens, born and raised. Uh, Went to school at St. Demetrius, Astoria High School. Where I'm from in Astoria, Queens, it's a very big Greek American community. I grew up right in it. From kindergarten to 12th grade, I was part of Astoria's Greek American community.
A lot of places owned by Greeks speaking the
Everything
language,
from cafe, bars, restaurants,
other products, right? Supermarkets.
clothing, everything. I'd say Greeklish, a little bit, a mix of Greek and English at home. Um, my father, who came from Greece, spoke mostly Greek, so I'd speak to him in Greek, and my mom, who was born here, even though her parents are from Greece, I speak more English with. Yeah, I'd say I'm not exactly fluent in Greek, but I read it, I can write it, I can understand it. I might have some problems here and there, but for the most part, most of my closest friends are Greeks, usually because I meet them through school or through when I used to play basketball through my school. But I also have a very much big group of friends who are just from Queens, just friends who aren't necessarily Greek. We speak English, but I mean there'll be times where maybe watching a soccer game, maybe grabbing a frap at a cafe where we talk a little Greek, more for fun than actually needing to speak Greek. Well, I see myself as a Greek American, being born in America, but being raised in such a deep Greek culture, it definitely both play a part. And base, when I tell people who I am, I identify myself the same. My non-Greek friends all know that I'm Greek and proud, and they'll make some jokes about it too. But for the most part, I try and stay as Greek American as possible, and I mean that as it being Queens, everyone's from different ethnicities. Uh, I wouldn't say I've had many moments of discrimination. I've said it's had its benefits, especially growing up in Astoria.
Like what?
Just being able to go someplace in Astoria where someone's Greek and talk to them in Greek will give you a better relationship with the owner or a closer relationship with the people working there. I've always been growing up eating Greek food my entire life, and I've been part of a Greek dance group when I was in school. I had done part of Greek plays. Uh, Very much so. Greek culture has been part of my life, and I've always been around it. Very much so, but I mean, I'm not any more proud than I am also be American too. I mean, growing up here, I have both best of both worlds the way I see it, and I take pride in that. In my car, I have a small little beaded Greek flag that hangs from my mirror. In my room, I have everything from my Greek club team, my soccer team, to the national team posters in my room. So yeah, I definitely have things of Greece around. In Astoria, I was a part of the Goya group, which is the Greek Orthodox Youth Administration. So I helped team sports with other Greek Americans, and I've been part of.
Is this a large organization?
Goya is a pretty large organization, not only in New York, but New York has many churches that come together and make a sports league full of Greek American players. Oh, for sure. I speak with my cousin in Australia who's Greek through Facebook. I speak with my cousin in Greece through Twitter. It They all definitely play a part. It allows the world to get closer. Even doesn't matter how far away you are.
So there is some kind of interaction and networking among family members.
Yeah, for sure. following my cousin in Greece, he DJs on a radio station in Greece, so I'm able to hear what type of music people in Greece are listening to right now. I don't have to wait and find out on my own. I haven't been able to go in the last, I think it's been 6 years I haven't been there for. So it's been a while, but I'd take any chance I could get to Greece, even with everything that's going there now. I'd love to go back to Greece. Well, when I think of Greece, and I remember growing up knowing that there's so much history that we're as Greeks have brought to Earth, and while I can't really comment on modern Greece, being I haven't gone there so long. I just know from stories from my father, my grandparents, life in Greece was very difficult, and they managed, and with such a beautiful place for them to come here, it says a lot. Well, I can't say that I actually know of any programs that truly go to. I've heard of a couple through churches that I know they make trips and visited, but for up to me, I'd actually go on my own to Greece with a couple friends and really explore the city and the country to the best of my abilities. I'd say it'd be difficult. Um, I don't know how well I'd be able to do in Greece. No, not knowing how the city works when it comes to working there, and it'd definitely be a challenge. But it's not something I wouldn't give a try. Not many that I know of. I've heard of a few through friends. Yeah, and if they are, they don't make themselves really well known that they are available then, because I haven't heard of any. Uh, I wouldn't say it's much pressure. I do know that my parents would be much happier if I brought a Greek girl home, but I don't put that pressure on myself. Growing up in Queens, there's so many ethnicities. I wouldn't want to just center myself on just the Greek. It would be bad. I wouldn't just be disappointed, but I keep my mind and eyes open. Growing up, that was very. They emphasized that a lot. The continuity of to retain your Greek ethnicity and find like another Greek woman and continue and continue. But I gotta say, I mean, having a lot of friends that aren't Greek and growing up in such a for so long in a Greek community with Greek, the way everything has to be their way, you learn that, especially growing up in New York, we're all the same, but everyone has their own ethics, I guess you can say, and I don't know. I mean, while marrying a Greek woman would be ideal and important, I don't just focus on that. I see it as, especially when I was getting older, understanding that not everyone has this strong bond with their ethnicity as I do, especially as Greeks do, that it becomes not less important but less parallel. I definitely think speaking the language makes a difference, and especially learning Greek while growing up, you'll find so many differences in the Greek language and English language that it actually helps you. But for sure, learning the language is very much a big part of being Greek and understanding its culture. I introduce myself as NIKO Panosopoulos. I get a lot of jokes about my last name. My first name doesn't fit on my license, so that's an indicator right there. But nah, for the most part, I introduce myself my full Greek name, and I kind of like it. It sets me apart from everyone else.
You don't see it as a problem in your personal, in your private life.
There have been many times where it's caused an issue having that many letters in your last name, but I mean, for the most part, I've been able to deal with it. And aside from teachers ruining it and attendance, it works pretty well.
You keep insisting they call you with a full name and
The last name I don't really get too touchy about, but as I like being called Nico instead of Nick. I prefer it much. for one thing, I think the Greek American schools are very important. Where I went, St. Demetrius, it emphasized very much on that. Yeah, we're from Queens, we're American, and we have an American education, but the Greek education just as important, whether it be learning the language, the history, where we come from. And I think the schools, if as long as they continue to stay on that path, they can make sure Greek Americans understand enough of where they come from and to keep that continuity going. Definitely amongst my friends in my generation, it's clearly evident that the Greek structure and continuity, everyone wants to follow that. It's a very important issue amongst Greek Americans and Queens especially. I mean, uh, you still go around a store, you can go everywhere in a store and find any type of Greek food you can possibly imagine. So I think it's a big part that everyone wants to continue that tradition because of it's a very proud and strong tradition that through even through church. I mean, church is supposed to be for religious reasons, but I see a lot of Greek people do it more for cultural reasons than faith, which says a lot. Well, I definitely think they see me as an American. I mean, there's no argue about that. But I say it's different here. I mean, as a Greek American, we have the same traditions as Greeks, but we have the freedom of and the ability to act as we want as Americans. So it's a kind of a mixed experience of both worlds. I am aware, and I mean I'm not as much as I should know, but I do know enough that it's a big problem
Do you
and needs.
think Greece has the strength or the ability to overcome?
Well, I mean, Greeks, if one thing we know is we have strength and we have the ability to overcome. But I mean, there's things that need to be fixed, and I'm sure they'll make it through. Greece is such a beautiful country, and whether it be in the islands or in the mountains, there's hardworking people everywhere. So that's a difficult question. I as an American, I'd love to see America be able to help, but as a Greek, I look at America and say, no, we don't want their help because if I went to Greece right now, I'd be called Amerikanaki. I wouldn't be as accepted as all the Greeks are, even though I consider myself a very big Greek. Uh, I mean, if America could help without the Greeks getting mad, yeah, I'm all for it. But yeah, I'd hope so. For sure, no, for sure. I mean, all over New York, not just Queens. There's Greek churches everywhere, full of communities of Greek people, and um, they all pretty much have the. You can tell the same traditions and beliefs, and it's fun to see there's such a strong Greek culture still maintained in New York after all these times and all the choices they could take. I'd say for once, I mean, you can go over Astoria on 30th Avenue and you can find 3 to 4 different cafes packed full. I mean, well, not may all be Greek Americans, but there's a very big percentage of Greek Americans enjoying their fraps, talking about the soccer games, playing backgammon, your typical Greek hangout type of thing. Whether it be the sports clubs where they watch soccer games, or at the Greek restaurants, or at the Greek clothing stores, they still even have. It,
Do you talk about politics or films or
I'd say politics aren't exactly the number one discussion. While they might come up and arise, everyone has their own ideas of what's happening or what's really happening because no one really knows around here. And as far as movies, I don't know, but music, I mean, music's a big part. Many Greek singers come to New York, do performances, and everyone goes to see them. That's another place where all the Greek Americans meet.
writers, poets, authors
Uh,
from Greece? Or
well, I studied them in school. I can't say that
yeah,
that
in Greek or in translation?
a little of both, a little bit both. But yeah, I mean, I'd say that the Greek Americans here do make a big emphasis on to show how proud they are to be Greek. I mean, you can't go if Greece wins a soccer game, you can't go around the story not expecting to hear cars beeping and people celebrating.
Flags all over.
Yeah, with flags everywhere.
Do you go to the parade? Do you participate?
When I was going to school in St. Denis, I had to march every year. So every year I was there marching rain, snow, shine, and I was always there. And I still visit and embrace it. For a long time, I thought being a part of any Greek American event made me Greeker, or it emphasized my Greekness. But the truth is, it's all about what you think and what you find to be important. If knowing me, I know my strong Greek qualities and what's important to me and what I want to be important for my kids one day. Definitely a combination of both between family and school and Astoria itself. Astoria, it's hard if you are Greek not to be proud of it and know you are. Many Greeks in Astoria will make sure that you know they're Greek and that they're proud of it. I mean, if I weren't raised in Astoria or in a New York neighborhood that's full of Greek people, because there are a lot in other neighborhoods that are full of Greek Americans,
Yeah,
I'd probably have a less emphasis on how strongly I feel about being Greek, for sure.
and although many of the young Greek Americans do not necessarily live in Astoria,
Yeah.
but they live nearby. In
Oh, some don't live nearby at all. My cousin lives in Brooklyn, yet still visits Astoria. It's just like the beacon of Greek Americans in New York. For Astoria, yes, but at the same time, I mean, especially my generation, we all grew up with people that weren't Greek as well. So when you're growing up with someone who's not Greek, and say, for example, whether they're Spanish, Italian, anything, they sometimes some of them aren't at all directly influenced by their ethnicity. They just happen to be that, but they identify themselves as American. So when you're Greek American in Astoria and you see that, you kind of, not that you feel more proud, but you see things in a parallel perspective of how important that is to you and why it's important. It's an honor to be able to say I'm Greek. So I find it very important that, while it might not be the most important thing in my life, it definitely is a part of me. So I would, for my kids, my family growing up, I would definitely push it on them and learn the language and visit Greece and stay part of Astoria means a lot. Astoria means a lot to me. So when I'm in Astoria, I'm part of everything there. So part of me, it makes me as Greek American as I can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.